Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
It's our people unit for the month of December. We're going to talk about a famous person in our program today. And maybe you've heard of this guy. Tom, me. That's me. You've heard of me, so we're going to talk about me today. No, we're not going to talk about me. We're going to talk about another Tom Cruise. You've probably heard of him. And he brings the action to the big screen. And especially if you've seen his latest movie, Top Gun Maverick, which I know you said you've really loved.
I
haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting for it to play in second-run theaters. And in any case, yeah, we're going to talk about him. And he's been around for quite some time. He's already 60 years old.
He has been around for a while, and he's been a star all of those years. So he's truly one of the real movie stars out there because he's had such a long career, has made so many good movies. He loves action films, and he loves to do the stunts himself. So we're going to be talking about Mr. Tom Cruise for this particular unit. Let's get started. We're going to read through today's lesson.
Top Gun Maverick, starring Tom Cruise, is one of this year's biggest Hollywood movies. Cruise is an actor who is fully committed to realism. In fact, he performs most of his stunts himself, even if they're extremely dangerous. One memorable scene comes from the first Mission Impossible movie. In it, Cruise's character Ethan Hunt is hanging from a wire and starts to fall. The wire tightens at the last second, stopping Ethan just a few centimeters from the floor. Apparently, shooting the scene was difficult for Cruise as he kept hitting his face. He kept trying, though, and finally got it. In Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, when the character Ethan Hunt climbs the Burj Khalifa, there is no stunt performer. Cruise is actually doing it. This scene demonstrates how Cruise strives to test his limits and push himself, especially when you consider that the Burj Khalifa is the world's tallest building. As for Top Gun Maverick, Cruise has been a licensed pilot since 1994. This helped make his piloting scenes very convincing. With diligence and enthusiasm, Cruise really brings characters like Ethan Hunt and Maverick to life. And we have more to look forward to as Mission Impossible sequels are planned for 2023 and 2024. It looks like a bright future for both Tom Cruise and movie fans alike.
Okay, guys, we're going to dive in and talk about probably the world's most famous movie star, and that's Tom Cruise. Now, some actors like to say that they're celebrities or they're famous or they're actors or actresses. But about Tom Cruise, you can honestly say he's a movie star. A lot of people have seen his movies. He's made millions and millions of dollars. And some of my favorite movies that he's made are, I love the Mission Impossible movies, but I really love Top Gun. In fact, my family loved Top Gun, the original, so much that we named our dog Maverick. So I love those movies. So let's get going. He brings the action to the big screen. Anytime you see the big screen, they're talking about the cinema or the theater. You know, nowadays our world is changing, and I think before long we're going to see some of these theater chains start closing. In fact, AMC, which is a big movie theater chain in the U.S., it's struggling. They might declare bankruptcy. A lot of people are staying home and streaming their entertainment online.
Okay, so we're beginning by saying Top Gun Maverick, starring Tom Cruise, is one of this year's biggest Hollywood movies. You've probably heard about it. You probably went to see it. Like I said before, I did not see it. I have not seen it yet, but you have, and I guess it's worth all the hype, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It was quite good. I didn't think they would be able to produce a Top Gun that was quite as good as number one. But they did. And I liked his new girlfriend in this one. It made more sense. She's more his age. And I think she was really great. Yeah, so let's get going on this, guys. It says here that Top Gun Maverick, which is the name of this new film, or it was new during the summer, that it's one of the year's biggest Hollywood movies. I can now officially say it's the world's biggest movie in all time. It used to be Titanic, which had made a lot of money, but now Top Gun Maverick made more money than Titanic did.
Okay, so there you have it. This is a big movie, and Tom Cruise starred in this movie. And who is Cruise? Who is Tom Cruise? Well, he is an actor who is fully committed to realism. And realism is all about making things look like they're real, that they're not produced in a studio or they're not done with special effects or things like that. Basically, it means that you believe what you see on the screen. And, of course, that does have to do a lot with him performing his own stunts. A lot of actors have stunt men or stunt people to stand in for them when there are dangerous scenes that need to be shot, like someone running and jumping from buildings or falling down and stuff like that. There are people specially trained for that, but just like Jackie Chan, Chenglong, he likes to do his own stunts, even though they're extremely dangerous. So, yeah, he believes in realism and he thinks, hey, if I want this to look real, I've got to do it myself.
I think he likes the adrenaline rush. We call these guys an adrenaline junkie, which means they're kind of addicted to having that adrenaline that you get when you do something dangerous or scary or thrilling. I think he loves that stuff. He likes to challenge himself, but he's getting older. And as you get older, your body doesn't respond the same way. I think Jackie Chan found that to be true, too. He got to a certain age and his bones just wouldn't repair as quickly. And, he ended up having a lot of aches and pains from all those incredible stunts he pulled. Now, Cruise is an actor who is fully committed to realism. A lot of movies, they want to make it look real. But some of the movies you think, yeah, that doesn't look real. No way. But he is so committed to making it look like real life instead of just something that a movie has put together that he takes on some pretty dangerous stunts. Now, realism just means trying to do something or have the attitude or the practice of accepting a situation as it is, being prepared to deal with it the way you find it. Here it just means realism is being like it is in real life, as if somebody was doing it right in front of your eyes, instead of watching something that had been filmed in a movie, on a movie set.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, and if we watched movies that had really bad special effects, we'd say, oh, that looks so fakey. It doesn't look real at all. You can tell it's a special effect. That's not a boat being bombed by torpedoes. It's a model floating in the bathtub, and someone's just splashing water around. That's really fakey. But here, of course, he believes in realism, and he does his own stunts, even if they're very dangerous. Now, one memorable scene comes from the first Mission Impossible movie, which was out many years ago. I think I remember that movie. I think there was a motorcycle chase in that movie, and they were dancing the flamenco in there somewhere.
I think that's the second or third one.
Okay, so I've lost track. But in any case, in this movie, the first Mission Impossible movie, Cruise's character, Ethan Hunt, is hanging from a wire and starts to fall. Remember, Mission Impossible is based on an old TV series that was popular in the United States many years ago. We won't get into that, but the character is Ethan Hunt, and in the movie, he's got to do something where he is hanging from a wire, and then he starts to fall. Is that the one where he's like trying to steal some computer information, and he comes in through the ceiling, and the wire makes him fall down, and he almost hits the ground? I think that's the scene we're talking about.
Yeah, he can't touch the ground, or he sets off the alarm. And right before he hits the floor, that wire kind of jerks him up a little bit. But here our author actually shares this story. I'd never heard this before, that when they were actually filming it, the wire, of course, wasn't exact for several of the takes that they did. A take is just one time they shoot a specific scene. Take 1, take 2, take 3. Well, he had to keep doing it until they got it perfect, and his face kept hitting the floor as they were trying to get the best take. Yeah, that's real commitment, I would say. I don't want to hurt myself if I'm in a movie. So he does perform most of his stunts himself. And if you've watched these movies, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, this can't be real. But they really are. So what happens is he's hanging from that wire and starts to fall. And then the wire tightens at the last second. If something tightens, it just becomes tighter than it was before. We'll often take adjectives like tight, wide, length, short, and if you put an en or an n on it, it just turns it into a verb to tighten, widen, lengthen, shorten. Those are quick ways to make some of these words into verbs.
Right. Sometimes, of course, every 6 months or so, I need to tighten the bolts on my bicycle so they don't become loose and the wheel falls off or something like that. And in this particular scene, the wire that he's hanging from tightens at the last second. It's not loose. If it's loose, he'll hit the floor and break his nose or something.
Ooh.
And that just happens a few centimeters from the floor. Apparently, shooting the scene was difficult for Cruz because he kept hitting his face, maybe even breaking his nose or something. And he tried one time after another, and he finally got it, and they finally got the scene there. And I think that brings us up to the midway point in today's lesson. Let's take a little bit of a break right now and listen to our Chinese teacher.
听众朋友大家好，我是安娜。我们今天要来带大家看一个大帅哥，就是 Tom Cruise。就其实他在这个美国的影坛上面其实很有分量。这个 Tom Cruise， 如果你有看过《捍卫战士》的独行侠，大概我们大家都公认应该是今年好莱坞最卖座的电影之一了。但是其实 Tom Cruise 也不是只有帅而已哦。我们来看一下这篇文章第一段第二句的地方，其实他真的是一个很投入真实性的演员呢。好，我们来看一下这篇设计成的克漏字啊，这个第一题啊，4个选项都有不同的意思，可是我们看到除了说在文意上面之外啊，另外一个第一段的第二句，它其实是一个限定用法的一个关系子句，先行词是 an actor。 Cruise 他就是一个演员，什么样的演员呢？从户到句尾，我们先左右括号起来。当然关键字是在后面这个 realism， 就是所谓的真实。那什么叫做真实呢？假设某一个题目考你的选项是4个不同的文意，其实上下文都可以稍微看一看。所以我们接着看第三句。第三句他特别说，事实上啊，几乎所有的特技动作他都是亲自演出，即便是非常危险。也就是说，他完全是投入在所谓的真实性，不用替身这件事情。所以第一题当然选 be committed to something 是比较合文意的。那么不可能的任务第一集有一幕，这个场景真的非常令人难忘，因为在电影当中 Tom Cruise 他的角色是 Ethan Hunt， 那他当时身上就挂着这个吊线，然后开始坠落。吊线在最后1秒的时候突然收紧， Ethan 就会停在距离地面的几公分这个地方。我们在第二段第3句的地方特别来看一下哦，其实它是一个分词构句，因为这篇克漏字当中，其中呢就是在第2题考的就是一个所谓的文法，所以第3句这里看到其实它有2个动词，第一个动词是 tighten， 收紧了，什么时候呢？ at the last second， 在最后1秒的时候。接下来看到的动作就是停止啦，所以第2题的这个停止到底要选哪一个文意呢？我们根据整句话当中其实判断的是第一个收紧之后，然后停止 stops Ethan just a few centimeters from the floor。 原本的句子应该有一个 and 的这个连接词，把 tightens 跟 stops这2个动作做一个连结，可是我们在第2题当中选项里面根本没有看到连接词去连接这2个动词，所以很显然的它应该是一个 and 省略的分词构句，表示2个动作几乎是同时发生，所以第2题选 B stopping 是比较适合的。好，那当然很显然的，拍摄这一幕对于 Tom Cruise 来说难度是非常高的，因为一定会不小心一直撞到这个地面，就是撞到脸，可是他一直努力的尝试，最后终于完成这一幕的拍摄。所以同样在第2段第4句当中，特别注意逗点之后的 as， 连接词的 as 呢，在英文当中不是 when 就是 because， 再不然就是如同好像。所以根据上下文的文意，在这里的 as 应该是 because 的意思。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay, let's continue with our lesson. We're talking about Tom Cruise today. We're especially talking about Tom Cruise's special ability to do his own stunts because he's committed to realism. And we told you about the example in the first Mission Impossible movie when he hangs from the ceiling by a wire. And there were several takes of that scene because he kept hitting his face on the floor and he kept doing it until he got it right. Now, in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, when the character Ethan Hunt climbs the Burj Khalifa, there is no stunt performer. Cruise is actually doing it. Now, I did not see this movie, but I can imagine a scene where someone is climbing up the Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world right now. And I guess they actually filmed it there. It was not done with special effects or in the studio or by computer. He was actually there outside the Burj Khalifa climbing that building.
Yeah, it's insane because we know that those buildings that are that tall, the wind around the top of those buildings is very strong. So just a gust of wind could knock him off. Of course, if he does these sorts of stunts in his movies, he has to get a lot of insurance, which is hard to cover because he's worth a lot. So he really wants to do the stunts, though, and so I guess he's talked some insurance companies into actually insuring him. It's insane. So this scene demonstrates how Cruise strives to test his limits and push himself, especially when you consider that the Burj Khalifa is the world's tallest building. I remember 101 was the tallest building for quite a while, and then they built this Burj Khalifa, and it came up a little bit taller than 101, which is a shame.
And there are other buildings taller than 101 now, but I do remember many years ago some French guy actually came to Taiwan. And did he climb up the building or
really?
did he jump off? I remember somebody jumped off and parachuted down and had a taxi waiting for him at the bottom.
For a quick getaway.
I'm not sure if they caught him or if he got in trouble for that. I don't know, but that's old news. But it's similar to what Tom Cruise did. He actually climbed outside of the Burj Khalifa and they got the shot. So maybe you can find that on the internet somewhere. You can find that scene. So let's bring things up to the present now. As for Top Gun Maverick, Cruise has been a licensed pilot since 1994. Now, I have to admit my ignorance here. I did not see the original Top Gun movie, nor have I seen the recent one, Top Gun Maverick. All I know is that the song from the original Top Gun movie was The Danger Zone or something like that. But
Kenny Loggins, yeah.
Yeah, that's all I know about that movie, but I guess it was an exciting action movie that involved jet planes. And if you want to fly an airplane or if you want to fly a jet, then you need to have a license. You need to be a licensed pilot. A pilot is a person who flies an airplane. And if you're licensed, that means you have a license to do that. You studied at a proper school. You logged all the necessary hours, you took the exams, etc., and you now are approved to be a pilot. It's legal for you to actually take an airplane into the sky.
Right, we license other things like doctors and lawyers, which just kind of lets the public know, well, they passed these particular tests or they graduated from this school and they should be sufficient, capable, not always. So licensed here is being used as an adjective. You can have a license, which is a noun. You can have a license to practice law, a license to be an accountant and handle someone's taxes. But here, I didn't know he was a licensed pilot. I do know that when they were filming Top Gun Maverick, that all of those actors, they're all pretty young people. They're good looking, the girls and the guys. Those that you see piloting those fighter jets, they actually had to go into the air and experience what it felt like flying at that. Was it a 9G or whatever? The gravitational pull is horrible on your body. And some of the actors said they threw up. They were so sick when they got out. But Cruise really complimented them, saying they were pretty tough because it takes a lot of courage, and also it's horribly scary and disorienting when you're up that high and you're moving so quickly and they're doing spins. You know, those kind of fighter pilots, they're the best of the best.
Yeah, they need to have special training.
Oh, yeah.
It's not easy to do. It looks easier than it really is. And, of course, it looks more convincing if you really are a pilot. So it says here, this helped make his piloting scenes very convincing. You could believe that he's actually a pilot because he is a pilot in a lot of action movies. They're just actors pretending to be pilots or to pretend to be race car drivers, even though they've never done it before. Although some of them will train a little bit so that they look convincing. If something's convincing, you believe it, you think it looks real. I should also mention earlier, we have the present perfect here. If you want to talk about an action that started in the past and continues to the present, you can use this with the word since. I have been a pilot since 1994, or I have lived in Taiwan since 1969, or something like that. Or you could say, I have lived in Taiwan for 20 years. If you want to talk about the length of time, you use for. And if you want to talk about when you began something, then you say since. So he's been a licensed pilot since 1994. So therefore, his piloting scenes are very convincing.
It says here with diligence and enthusiasm, Cruise really brings characters like Ethan Hunt, who is the title character in all of the Mission Impossible movies, and Maverick, who is the guy in Top Gun. That's his last name, Maverick. Actually, that's his nickname. That's not his real name or the character's name. It's just a nickname. If you're a Maverick, you're kind of somebody who takes risks and you're willing to expose yourself to some danger. You're kind of out there on the edge. And of course, his character in Top Gun is definitely that way. If you are showing some diligence, it means you're very careful, you're very persistent in whatever you're doing, whether it's at work or maybe a sport that you like, that you're training in. If you're diligent, and that's the adjective form, it just means you continue to work. You don't let other things sidetrack you or get in your way. You continue working very hard.
Yep, and diligent is the adjective. You might have a classmate or a coworker who's very diligent. They just keep on working. They're persistent. They don't give up, and they're very careful in what they do. And diligence is the noun form here. So we could say that Tom Cruise is diligent, and he's enthusiastic, which is the adjective for somebody who has a great feeling or passion towards something. And then the noun form, as we're using here, is enthusiasm. So yes, he's got diligence and he's got enthusiasm. Or we could say he's very diligent and he's very enthusiastic. Well, with these special qualities, Cruise really brings characters like Ethan Hunt and Maverick to life. So here's the phrase, to bring something to life, which means you make it look really convincing or real, and that's what actors and actresses do. They bring these characters to life. We believe that they are the people they're portraying.
And he spends a lot of time trying to make his movies as realistic as possible. We mentioned that he's fully committed to realism, and that's something he's known for. So we've got some Mission Impossible sequels to look forward to. A sequel is just one in a series of several movies or books. Usually we talk about sequels as being the follow-up movies. So Harry Potter had several sequels, Mission Impossible, several sequels. These are planned for 2023 and 2024. I'll probably go see them. I haven't loved all of the Mission Impossible movies, but most of them are pretty entertaining. It looks like a bright future for both Mr. Tom Cruise and movie fans alike. Yeah, we definitely have some good movies to look forward to as long as Tom Cruise is around.
He's still going strong at the age of 60, maybe 61 by now. And indeed, we've got some movies to look forward to. And if you're a movie fan, you've got those movies to look forward to as well. If you haven't, like me, seen Top Gun Maverick, you should probably go check it out. And then you'll be ready to see the new Mission Impossible movies. And I've seen a couple of them in the past, and they're okay. I'm not a big Tom Cruise fan, but I do enjoy watching his movies nevertheless for the action scenes and things like that. Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. Let's listen now to our Chinese teacher.
而接下来在不可能的任务鬼影行动当中，当着我们的主角 Tom Cruise Ethan Hunt 他的角色攀上一个这个哈利法塔的时候，也没有特技演员哦，所以这一幕就展现了 Tom Cruise 其实是要努力挑战自己的什么，突破自我。接下来我们就要来看一下在第3段当中第3题的这个地方。第3题如果是根据上下文的文意，我们看到选项又是不同的单字嘛，所以第3题前面有一个动词是 test 测试他自己的什么 and push himself 然后要逼着自己要推着自己。那后面呢我们整句话当中文意因为有提到这个建筑物是全世界最高的建筑物，所以应该是要逼自己 push 自己，然后推到极限来去测试，所以根据上下文文意第3题选 A 的 limits 会比较适当哦。好，那当然接下来就是我们所谓的刚刚提到的独行侠的这个捍卫战士这个部分啊，其实 Tom Cruise 他从1994年来他是一个有执照的飞行员，所以其实他在驾驶飞机的这个场景是相当有说服力的，根本不可能是后面合成的。所以我们看到最后面第4段的地方，首先第一句在前面的 as for你可以把它画起来，它是个介系词片语，就表示当文章当中提到另外一个主题的时候，至于什么什么就可以用 as for something。当然第4题我们提到的又是4个不同的形容词，那么我们根据上下文在第一句话当中，因为看到 a licensed pilot 他是一个有执照的飞行员，也就是说导致接下来第4题这句话的文意就会变成他的 piloting scenes 飞行的这些场景当然会令人很相信是他自己拍的，就会变成 convincing。 第4题选D 的答案比较适合。好，那么接下来呢，我们当然可以期待未来不可能的任务续集。我们知道在2023年、2024年都有可能会再继续上映。所以我们最后的第5题当中啊，其实我们看到整段的第4段最后一句话有一个关键 A bright future， 这个光明未来其实就隐含着我们第5题到底要选哪个动作呢？我们当然要期待未来的一些续集在2023跟2024的时候，所以根据上下文的文意，第5题答案选 B The look forward to something 是比较好的。不过最后面我们再补充一下，在最后一段第4句最后面的 alike 其实是修饰前面的 Tom Cruise and movie fans。我们常说 A 跟 B 都如何如何，通常会讲 both A and B， 可是我们也可以说 A and B alike， 也就是把都放在修饰词的后面。那我们就期待 Tom Cruise 的演出咯。我是 Anna， 我们下次见。
Thanks for joining us, guys. And if you haven't seen Top Gun Maverick, you should get online and see where it's streaming so you can see it for yourself. For English Digest, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tom. Goodbye.
Bye.